Elizabeth Cady Stanton is the mother of early feminism and the woman's right to vote. She and Lucretia Mott, abolitionists with a need to be heard and a need to change the way people were oppressing women, organized the Seneca Falls Convention, the first convention geared toward women for women. The first day of this convention, women were the only ones allowed in, and 200 attended. Stanton announced the Declaration of Sedition and Grievances that she and Mott had written. She read it to the crowd, and they voted and changed a few things at the convention. The second day, men were allowed in. 40 men attended. Among them was the black abolitionist Frederick Douglass. The Declaration was finished and sent to Congress. After the Civil War, Stanton and Mott got a petition signed by over 200,000 people for the 13th Amendment to be passed. Later, Susan B. Anthony, an abolitionist, a suffragette, and a friend of Stanton, joined the party. Anthony played a huge part in women's education being equal of that of a man. She convinced the University of Rochester to accept women and fought for co-ed classrooms, arguing that there was no difference between the intelligence of a man and a woman, only difference in the opportunities given. In 1896, Mary Church Tyrrell, being excluded from many events in the women's rights movement, created the National Association of Colored Women. While this organization focused on many of the same issues that the women's rights movement did, they also focused on black rights issues like segregation and uplifting men, women, and children, making it so they didn't feel bad about themselves based on their race or gender. The motto, "Lifting as we climb," was adopted as the group continued to get pushed down by society but continued to fight back. Alice Paul and her Iron-Jawed Angels. Alice Paul lived in England for some time before moving back to the States with Lucy Burns. While the two were in England, they had started a women's rights movement of their own. On coming home, they had no intention of stopping it. They took over the women's rights movement and started the National Women's Party. The stances were much stronger and much more forceful than Stanton and Mott's. Many call Paul's tactics militaristic. Alice Paul was very determined in getting the woman's right to vote. She inspired many. Her party picketed the White House for weeks on end, many getting arrested and sent to prisons, labor camps, or insane asylums. These women went on hunger strike and were force-fed through a tube, and some were beaten by the guards. Alice Paul endured this the most. But every day until President Wilson would see them, more and more came back. The National Women's Party paraded down New York one day in December of 1919. The parade was stopped by protesters of the Women's Party and the women's right to vote. However, in August of 1920, the 19th Amendment, the woman's right to vote, was ratified as a national law. Even though Alice Paul and Elizabeth Cady Stanton eventually got their vote, Anthony and Tyrrell got their schools, the fight still goes on. Margaret Sanger opened the first birth control clinic in 1916 that was shut down just a few months after its opening, only to be reopened 30 years later as the first Planned Parenthood. In 1955, the Daughter of Billets, the first group supporting lesbian couples, started. Modern feminism is huge, and girls of all ages and race are finally getting told by other women that they are more than just a girl. They are a strong, independent person too. To this day, the Equal Rights Amendment by Alice Paul still has not been passed. The It's On Us campaign, raising awareness of consent and how to get it before having sex, may not be feminism, but it wouldn't be talked about without Margaret Sanger. Many changes to the United States Constitution and to our world have happened because of feminism, but it isn't over yet. It won't be over until every girl feels good about themselves and people stop judging others based on what they are instead of who they are.